Like effective spiritual function, Freud affirms that sex is the product of the union of a man and a woman who love and complement each other. That's why Freud calls masturbation the solitary vice, because the other person does not exist but in imagination. The masturbating one imagines a woman if he is man, and vice versa if she is woman, and masturbate in the name of him/her. Exhaustion is multiplied, because it is sexual and cerebral. That image of the woman is impregnated in the subconscious mind and revived during the unconscious process of dream, originating the involuntary nocturnal pollutions. That is, the more a person masturbates, the more nocturnal pollutions he will have. Masturbation as a solitary vice stimulates erotic fantasy, which produces trot-time women rejection, or vice versa, brain exhaustion and sexual impotence. Samuel Unwia affirms in chapter Normal Sexuality of his book Perfect Matrimony, sexual fantasy produces impotence of a psychosexual type. People with that kind of illness have normal erections. They are apparently normal men, but in the moment in which they try to connect the penis and the vulva, the erection abates, making the phallus fall, leaving the man in the most horrible state of desperation. They have lived in sexual fantasy, and when they really find themselves facing the crude sexual reality which has nothing to do with fantasy, they become confused and are unable to properly respond to reality. Psychosexual impotence is the worst tragedy that men, fanatic women or reasoning people can suffer. Fornication is not only physical but also can occur on the mental and astral worlds. Some people are used to talk about lust, others read pornography on magazines, go to the movies for erotic and passionate films. People spend lots of reserves of sexual energy. Those persons use the most delicate and fine material of sex in their brutal metal passions, spending it miserably. A human being must learn to live sexually. The external temperature of the human body is 98 degrees Fahrenheit, but the internal is 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and this increases with masturbation. When the adolescent finishes masturbating, a peristaltic movement of absorption takes place, and by effect of the emptiness, the seminal vesicle tries to fill and humid air is absorbed through the penis, which is later absorbed from the seminal vesicle to the lymphatic system, arriving at the brain, producing a thermal shock and cold spaces between the cerebral neurons and cells, and this affects cerebral, physical and nervous normality. Seminal vesicle could absorb sperms instead of air, but this is not possible because sperms have already been expelled. Besides, it is easier to suck air than liquid. Concerning this cold air absorbed by the masturbating one, Samuel Unwia, philosopher, anthropologist, esoteric scholar, sexologist and contemporary psychologist, in the chapter Sexology of his book Didactic of Self-Knowledge, affirms, concerning masturbating ones, you certainly know what the vice of masturbation is. When somebody masturbates, is committing a crime against nature. After entity of semen has been ejaculated, it remains such a peristaltic movement in the phallus. This is known by every man. When masturbating, cold air is absorbed by the phallus with the peristaltic movement. This goes later to the brain, therefore many cerebral faculties are exhausted. Innumerable men have become insane because of the abominable vice of masturbation. A full air brain is a stupid brain in a 100%. So, we condemn this vice in a 100%.